And I love hearing how much you had to suffer for your art, having to go out to Fire Island multiple times for research. Nick, I'm sure you also went out too, just so you'd make sure to kind of personify your character correctly, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've spent years going there, like from the time I moved to New York in 2005. So I had a lot of sort of investigative work over the years, you could say.
Method acting, you might say.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I've been preparing for this movie for 15 years.
Hey everyone, this is David Stark from Watch Your Pass. Today I'm joined by the director Andrew Ahn and star Nick Adams of Fire Island, which is coming to Hulu on June 3rd, 2022. We're going to talk to them right now. And while you're watching, if you can like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. Helps me out a lot. Thank you. So thanks so much for joining me. This is Andrew Ahn, the director, and Nick Adams, the star of Fire Island, which is coming to Hulu on June 3rd, 2022. It is a fun, raunchy, debaucherous coming-of-age film that also just has a ton of heart and drama. It is something that you're not going to see anywhere else, and it is just a ton of fun. I really love watching it, and I think we should probably start with what everyone in the film does is just have a nice cheers, get nice and socially lubricated, so we can keep talking.
Cheers.
Cheers. So I assume you all are drunk right now, but I don't know, maybe not. Maybe that's just
last night. A little early in the day. Yeah. We'll choose it some water. Yeah.
You're not on Fire Island time?
I wish.
No, not yet.
So Andrew, I guess the first question is how did you get involved in this project? Had you worked with Joel before, or was this something that you just kind of heard it was being made and you're like, I need to make this, I'm gonna go find out where this is being made?
Yeah, so I've known Joel for a couple of years now. He had reached out to me in 2016 after I made my first feature Spa Night, and we just wanted to connect as fellow gay Korean Americans, and we kept in touch ever since. When I found out that he was writing Fire Island, I was definitely very curious and really interested, and I got the script about a year into the pandemic. And it, just had everything that I was missing in my life. I love that it celebrated, a chosen family and community. I love that it's centered on a queer Asian American friendship. It just felt really meaningful to make. And, I'm so glad that, I got to work with Joel on this project.
That must have been very painful to receive this script about this like fun thing to do with people in the middle of the pandemic. And you're like, I can't, I remember that. Like that was something that people used to do.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely made me nostalgic. But if anything, I was just like extra pumped, more inspired. I was, ready to make this.
For sure. And this question is for both of you. Had either of you been to Fire Island before? Like been to kind of this party? Is it like a certain time, or is it just like the summer is just crazy and people kind of filter in and out throughout the summer?
Yeah, it's pretty much a summer spot. Some people are there year round in the winter, but there are no roads, so it's kind of difficult to navigate once it snows, and you have to take a ferry out there. So there are no cars or anything except for some four-wheelers and such. But yeah, it's a summer escape. It's like 2 hours from Manhattan. By way of, you have to take a subway or a train to a shuttle to a ferry. It's like a little bit, that's part of the adventure to get there. But it feels so far removed once you're there. It really feels like you're in some fantasy paradise that is like far away from all of your troubles in the city.
I like no roads. It sounds like the craziest summer camp experience. It's like an adult summer camp. I love that. I love that idea.
Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe. I had actually never been before this movie, but I tried to go as much as I could, during pre-production, just to learn as much about the island. I, talked to the cast about, their experiences. Joel, obviously, I, talked a lot to him about, his experiences on the island. But yeah, it's funny that you mentioned summer camp because, the cast and I, we got to stay in a bed and breakfast together, and it really did feel like, just a fun summer experience, getting to make something with your friends. Like it was a real treat, definitely still a lot of hard work though.
Yeah, for sure. And I love hearing how much you had to suffer for your art, having to go out to Fire Island multiple times for research. Nick, I'm sure you also went out too, just so you'd make sure to kind of personify your character correctly, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've spent years going there, like from the time I moved to New York in 2005. So I had a lot of sort of investigative work over the years, you could say.
Method
Yeah,
acting, you might say.
yeah, yes, exactly. I've been preparing for this movie for 15 years. So no, but I love it out there. I haven't had my own like week-long rental out there ever. I've just sort of stayed with friends or done like a weekend here and there. But I've definitely experienced, I think, everything you can out on the island, including making a film.
Yep. Well, there you go. And yeah, now you are kind of cemented on the island, right? You've stamped your spot on the island. So I guess, Nick, how did you get involved in this film? Like, how did you get into this cast of characters?
At the very beginning of the pandemic, I flew back from LA to New York and I rented a house upstate in the woods. And my manager sent me a request for a self-tape for this. And I thought, okay, the world's ending, no one's working. I don't know why we're even bothering with this, but okay. So I remember trying to get it done so that I could get it done in time to go out in my hot tub that was in the woods. I was like asking my boyfriend to just help me do this really fast, to just do one take of like each scene and just send it in. And the plan for it was to maybe shoot at the end of that first summer, and then it was postponed, and then it didn't happen. And then I finally, like a year later, got a phone call that it was going to be made. And was I still interested, and would I be able to hold these dates? And then I had to retape everything, and then we had a fun sort of interview via Zoom.
Yeah.
Because I was in Boston on a gig, and you were I think you were like scouting locations.
I know.
Right?
I was taking the Zoom from the car.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh wow.
But it was so great because I instantly felt so comfortable with him, and I felt like, oh, I really want to do this. And I knew the other people involved, not personally, but I knew of their work, and I thought this would be a great fit. And then I think like a week, or maybe not even like a week later, I found out that I got it. So
That's awesome. I imagine if you would have said in your interview or in your audition, like, "Hey, I'm doing this really quickly so I can jump in the hot tub," that probably would have actually bumped you up, because that actually fits perfectly with the characters.
It would have worked. It would have worked. It would have worked on me. But yeah, no, I've known Nick for years and known of his work, and I saw just like how much fun he was having playing the villain, and I really I was terrified of him, like that audition tape was scary in the right way. And I think it's just a real sign of his talent, because he's so sweet and nice in person. And it's just, yeah, it's all acting, being a villain is all acting. But yeah, it was a no-brainer. There was no other person for this role for us. We really wanted Nick.
Yeah, for sure. And I was gonna ask, because Nick, you seem like such a lovely, nice person. Like, how was it playing the villain? Like, was it?
I think it's so much fun to play something that's so far from yourself. I mean, because it really feels like playtime. It feels like inhabiting the person. So, and last night at the screening here in DC, I just was blown away with just how awful he is. And I think watching the crowd's reactions to him too, it was just like, wow, he's pretty vile. But it was great, and I think based on how they responded to me, that I hopefully did Cooper justice. So we'll see.
Maybe they were just afraid of you. Maybe they're just like, they're trying to be really nice. I loved just the camaraderie between kind of the core group, and then also when the friend groups interact. Seeing that tension, but also the love there. Were you able to kind of get the cast together before for, I don't know, prep sessions or things like that? Like, how did you establish that, or is it just like, these are great actors, they are acting, but also they're also fun people? Like, how did you establish the kind of friendships and interactions between the people?
Yeah, like many film productions, you don't have a lot of time with the cast before you start filming. Everybody is busy working on different projects, and so we were able to get everybody in for fittings, and then also a table read, which was so much fun, and just, I think, really was a great way to kick off the project. We had a small gathering with that core group of friends, And I asked them to tell, their favorite Fire Island story, and if they hadn't been, like, their favorite vacation story with friends. And we all got to share a little bit about something that's happened to us that we cherish the memory, whether it was a dark, difficult moment that we were able to rise up out of, or a fun, goofy moment that we'll never forget. And so that was the kind of prep work that we did. Thankfully, a lot of the cast already knew each other. Joel and Bowen are really great friends. Matt and Joel have known each other for years. Matt and Bowen have their podcast, Las Culturistas. Torian Miller, who plays Max, he's known Joel for a long time, back from their Chicago days. Margaret, obviously, like, everybody knows, and she's been such a supporter of Joel's career as a stand-up comedian. Really the only person that, like, we didn't really know was Tomas. And thankfully, Tomas is such a delight, and just, like, such a great human being that, I knew that if we cast it well, as long as we, like, could create a fun, supportive environment, like, everybody would gel and it would just be a great time.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing I was curious about is that there are some, like, fun, large kind of gathering scenes, some fun party scenes. How did you get all those extras? I mean, did you just, like, set up at Fire Island, be like, hey, who wants to be, like, filmed? Or did you bus, like, just the most fun ferries over to act in this? Like, where did you find everyone?
We brought people in. The island was not in peak season at that time, and also it's like a union thing. Like, you have to get actors, and you can't just pick people off the street. But
well, there's no street, so it would be okay, right?
Another layer. Yeah, we also we're dealing with the COVID situation, so it was very regulated, I should say, right?
Yeah. Everybody had to get tested, days before. And we actually, like, built some of those locations in bigger sound stages, so that you had more air circulation, and it would be safer. So it was quite the challenge, but we knew that we needed to get the crowds to get that Fire Island feeling, and we're so thankful that we were able to do it in a safe way. That for me is really important. Like, the process of making it, I wanted to make sure that, like, we were taken care of.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess I kind of forgot that this was filmed during COVID, because it is such, like, a fun party movie. But yeah, definitely you wanted to kind of be safe and kind of see what you could do, right? It was probably still kind of a little bit of an unknown situation. One thing I really also loved is with kind of the larger crowd and the larger cast. I thought it was really interesting, and I know that that Joel mentioned this when he was writing, like, seeing kind of, I don't know, factions within the gay community, because as I guess an outsider, like, when you see a gay character in a film, it's usually, like, one type, either it's like a supportive person or maybe like a more opinionated person. But here you got to see, like, a wider section of the community, and it was fun to see different groups and see how they interacted, and see kind of the internal drama in a fairly supportive place. Like, this is a supportive, safe place, and you get to see kind of tension there. Was that, I know it was part of the film, but was that something that was fun to depict on camera? Was it something that was very important to kind of tell this story?
Yeah, I mean, it was really built into the the structure of the film. As an adaptation of Pride and Prejudice, like, we had to talk about these class distinctions, and I think the queer community is part of greater society, and society is still dealing with racism, and is still dealing with classism. We're not immune to it just because we're queer, just because we are already in a marginalized community. And so, we didn't want to shy away from that. I think, it was important to acknowledge that, like, Fire Island is like a really difficult place to go vacation unless you're really rich, or you cram in a bunch of people into, a small house. And there are going to be people there who are really judgmental and discriminatory. But I really love that, Joel's, story really focused on this group of friends that love and care for each other for who they are. And I think that that's, ultimately, what makes us stronger, that what makes us believe, like, oh, we're worth it. We, deserve to have friends. We deserve to have fun. It's that chosen family that is so important.
Yeah, for sure. And I also love that Joel's character was one that kind of like refused to kind of abide by those boundaries. Like he was kind of his character, and he wouldn't change to try to, like, I don't know, chameleon into other areas. Like he was who he was, and he knew who he was. So that was also really interesting to see. And another question I had is, what was the alcohol budget for this film?
I mean, Nick, were any of your drinks real drinks?
No, not while I'm working. Are you kidding?
I thought you were a method actor, I guess.
I've had a lot of practice, but not on set. No, I probably could get into major trouble if I did that. But no, I don't. Were we sponsored by any liquor companies?
No. We definitely wanted to show, it's like, oh yeah, like there's a lot of alcohol on the island, and we were super pro. We definitely got drinks after,
yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. The cast experience was like so lovely. We really got to enjoy each other's company even while we were working, and I'm so excited to see everybody again when we premiere the movie. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
For sure. And I guess the last most important question is, are you a top shelf drinker or a well drinker?
I thought that question was going to go another way. Oh, only top shelf for sure. Only top shelf.
I think it depends on my mood and how much I want to spend. It depends. Is it an open bar? You got to take advantage of the situation. But yeah, I'm glad that you like that callback joke from the movie. It's one of my favorites.
Mine too.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think I'm a well at the bar and then a top shelf at home kind of person. So.
Smart.
Yeah.
So the film is Fire Island. It's coming to Hulu on June 3rd, 2022. So everyone can check it out in the comfort of their own homes. You're just not going to see a movie like this. I loved everything about it, and it's definitely something you should check out. After people see this movie, what can they look forward to next? Maybe a Fire Island 2 or some other project that either of you are working on?
Yeah, I mean, maybe like Provincetown, Cooper's Revenge.
That's, I think, what everyone deserves. And we didn't know they needed.
Horror movie is not what I expected, but hey, you know what? I'll go with it. I'd watch that movie.
Yeah, me too.
So awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining me. This is Andrew Ahn and Nick Adams, the director and star of Fire Island, which is coming to Hulu on June 3rd, 2022. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Awesome. That was Andrew Ahn and Nick Adams of Fire Island, which is coming to Hulu on June 3rd, 2022. It's a wonderful, fun, debaucherous, but so heartfelt coming-of-age movie about friends and love and family and just kind of like letting go of your own insecurities. It is a really, really fun film. I really, really liked it. And I definitely think you should check it out. If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.